How goes it, everyone? I am the world famous Fat Kid, and today, week 8 picks for this 2024-25 NFL season, and got some real good momentum. 11-3, 12-3, maybe 13-3 this week. Here's hoping. So, we're going to start off with no bye weeks. It's a full slate, full 16 games. A couple clunkers, as in, like, it should be very heavily one-sided. And there was one that was really difficult for me to pick. But until then, we will start with the Thursday night football game. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm just going to come out with it. I'm taking the Vikings. Yes, they lost to the Lions, but they're also taking on the Rams, who are still beaten up. Kupp is close to coming back, or so reports seem to think. But Minnesota's defense, a little bit better than I gave them credit for. The offense can score quickly, hiccup against Detroit, but divisional games are more difficult. So I'm not going to knock it against them. Minnesota wins. Then we move on to an AFC North matchup. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cleveland Browns. And I don't even know who's going to be quarterback for the Browns. I'm taking the Ravens. They dominated in the run game against the Bucs. Hell, running back one, and LJ, Lamar Jackson, had 5 total touchdowns. I believe they were all passing. I never trust that stat because, well, he's so effective on the ground. But so be it. I just think Cleveland is hopeless. Even with Nick Chubb coming back, he can only do so much. I think the season's over for them already. Then we move on to the Tennessee Titans taking on the Detroit Lions. Now, when I said there should be some one-sided games, this is one of them. Detroit wins. Tennessee has no offense, even with Mason Rudolph, who is the better option than Will Levis. In my opinion, I know I'm not the only one. Yeah, Detroit should win handily. The punch of Gibbs and Montgomery is fantastic, although Montgomery got hurt. I never saw an update on that. So, even if he's not playing, Gibbs is phenomenal. St. Brown, Laporta, Goff in Detroit is much better than I thought he was going to be. But there you go. Detroit should easily win that game. Then, moving on to the AFC South. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans. And, Texans are going to be looking for anybody to take their frustration out, because Green Bay nullified Stroud, and I guarantee he's not going to be happy. They're going to come out playing mean. They're going to come out just wanting revenge, vengeance, however you want to put it. I'm taking the Texans. Indy, even though Richardson may make some plays, I don't think the defense will be able to handle the Texans. The Colts, not that good of a team. Then, moving on to the Green Bay Packers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, both coming off of wins, one against a higher caliber team than the other, but I'm taking the Packers. Jacksonville is flat. They finally started getting some things clicking over in London in the second game, but Green Bay coming off of a huge win against the Texans. Jacobs running the ball hard. I mean, Jair playing with a chip on his shoulder. I saw him chirping with Stroud a little bit after any time he got near him. But I think the Packers just too good to lose to the Jaguars. Even if the Jaguars were humming, I think the Packers would win. It'd be a closer game, but I think Green Bay, another blowout. They should. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Miami Dolphins, and Tua may play. He's got a lot of hurdles to clear, according to what I read. He may. I think it's just kind of a smokescreen type deal. Snoop Huntley is out, or at least he got knocked out of last game. I couldn't even tell you who the backup is or the third string for Miami. And that's why I'm going to go Arizona. I'm going to take the Cardinals. Bad game against the Chargers, but they won. That's all that matters. Kyler Murray made a big 40-yard dash for a touchdown. Made some big plays late in the game with his arm. Marvin Harrison Jr. may be back. I'm not 100% sure on his status, but I got to go with the Cardinals. Next, we're moving on to an AFC East showdown. The New Jersey Jets taking on the New England Patriots, and this is going to be a bad game. Like, bad game. I expect the Jets to win. They have the better offense. New England, hey, they may come out and surprise me. These types of games are always kind of a coin flip. I mean, it's the AFC East. Both struggling teams, but I'm going to go with Jersey. Then we move on to the NFC South showdown. The Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Bucks. When they met 3 weeks ago, week 5, in Atlanta, Thursday Night Football, Atlanta, huge game for them. And they won in overtime on a crazy 30-something yard touchdown. I think it might have been 40. But Atlanta and Tampa Bay both need to get the nasty taste of a loss out of their mouth. It's a divisional game. I think with the way things went, Tampa Bay gets the win. They played a better team in the Ravens. They scored more points. They hung around longer in the game. I hope the loss of Godwin is not going to affect that offense too much, because they still have Otton, they still have White, and I already forgot his name, the other running back. God, I heard it like Irving. Haha. See, I'm good. Tampa Bay has the weapons. I picked them last time and they lost. Who knows? This was kind of a honorable mention for second toughest pick to make, because here is the toughest pick I had to make. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, and I went back and forth. I checked the last few games. They've played the same opponents. Philly just beat the Giants. Cincy just beat Cleveland. The week before, Philly just beat Cleveland. Cincy just beat the Giants. But the week before that, Cincy lost to Baltimore while Philly was on a bye. The recency bias tells me Philly put up more against the Giants. Oof. Am I talking myself? I initially have the Bengals. You know what? I'm going to stick with the Bengals. Bengals. Yeah, this was difficult to pick for me because Philly's playing pretty well. Barkley running well. You know what? Nope. In the moment, I'm taking Philly. I'm changing it to Philly. It's just Barkley has been running the ball very well since he struggled against the run. They also looked very bad against Cleveland, only going 21-14. I just talked myself out of it. I switched to Philly. That's how it goes. Okay, then we move on to the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to pick the Chargers. Saints have shown nothing in the last few weeks. And yeah, the Chargers just lost to the Arizona Cardinals in a heartbreaker of a game, but this is going to be at home. New Orleans has looked bad. The Chargers have at least looked a little bit better. They should have the edge in almost everything, but maybe the run game, Kamara kind of changes that. Chargers win. Next, we move on to the Buffalo Bills taking on the Seattle Seahawks, and Buffalo with a big win against Tennessee. It was really slow to start, but then they just made some distance. And the same could be said for Seattle against the Falcons. Although I didn't check the score breakdown of that, they could have had the lead early and just never looked back. But I'm going to take the Bills. I think Cooper helps out with that offense. That's a I don't want to say true number one because he still hands a stone till he proves otherwise. But he takes a little more pressure off of the wide receivers and the run game because they still have a guy that they have to cover. So I think Seattle is very good. But Josh Allen is going to be the tipping point. He's either going to lose the game for Buffalo or he's going to win it. Then we move on to the Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Commanders, and this one makes me sad. This one really does. I'm mad that Jaden Daniels is out because this would have been a fun game. You know, two young quarterbacks, top 5 picks, obviously the number 1 with Caleb Williams. But with that being said, Marcus Mariota's taking over. I have to go Chicago. Chicago's defense looks better. Caleb Williams has been playing fairly well. They are coming off of a bye, so over-rested, I don't think that's a thing. But at least at this time of year, I got to take the Bears. Next, we move on to the Carolina Panthers taking on the Denver Broncos. Carolina, their only win was against the Raiders. Every week. Every week I'm going to mention that until they beat another team. Okay. Carolina, their season's over. I'm taking the Broncos. They looked really good against New Orleans last week. Building on some momentum. Ugh. I don't like it. I don't like Denver. Frackin' rabbits. Yeah. We're going to take the Broncos. Then we move on to the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Do I have to say it? Chiefs. Yeah. We're just going to leave it there. Then we move on to the Sunday night football game. Dallas Cowboys taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And Dallas coming off of their bye, but they've looked terrible the last few games, getting blown out. San Francisco not who they really are. They need that defense to step up, and it's going to be tough. But I'm taking San Francisco because it's Dallas. Now, granted, if it was in Texas, I don't think I would have even had a second thought, and I would have picked the 49ers. Right now, I'm kind of humming and hawing a little bit, but I'm sticking with the 49ers. I think the defense is going to be able to stop Dak. CeeDee Lamb will get his catches, he'll get his yards, but I don't think he's going to make that huge of an impact. Watch, he's going to go off. Anyway, then closing out the week, we're going to go with a Monday night football game that should not be a Monday night football game. The New Jersey Giants taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers. The Giants are terrible. They're garbage. The Steelers are actually playing very well. Granted, it'll be Russ's second game. He looked okay the first game. that defense is still just dominant. So, yeah, we're going to close out with the Steelers getting a win on Monday Night Football. Anyway, there's my picks. Got them right there for you. Let me know what you think. Who do you have? What I didn't even pick a game of the week. What do you think will be the matchup to watch? And if anybody says Kansas City and Las Vegas, I hate you. Just know that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you next time. Later.